It's an absolutely beautiful late fall evening in the desert southwestern portion of the United States of America, where tonight we return to Las Vegas, Nevada, the prize-fighting capital of the entire world, and to the absolutely beautiful Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino for World Championship Boxing at its very best. Where tonight, live from Las Vegas, Dawn King Productions, in association with Main Events Boxing and the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino, present a show called Forces of Destruction. Our main event is the WBA IBF Super Welterweight and Junior Middleweight Championship of the World, the 154-pound unification match between Felix Tito Trinidad from Coupe Alto in Puerto Rico, undefeated WBA champ, takes on ferocious Fernando Vargas, the undefeated IBF champion, 20-0, 18 knockouts. You'll also see the IBF Light Flyweight Championship. This is a mandatory defense for one of the very best mechanical boxers in the world today, as Ricardo Lopez Finito puts his title on the line. 48-0, 35 KOs. He takes on Rantanapol Vorapin, the pride of Thailand. Then you'll see the WBA Middleweight Championship of the World. Two-time WBA champion William Jaffe of Silver Springs, Maryland, takes on Jonathan Reed, the undefeated upstart, ranked number 10 in the WBA from Nashville, Tennessee, 27-0. You'll also be fortunate enough to see the Women's Pound-for-Pound Championship featuring the coal miner's daughter, Christy Martin, against a tough Buckeye named Sabrina Hall. Hello again, everybody. I'm Bob Sheridan, and welcome to the Mandalay Bay, welcome to Las Vegas, Nevada, and welcome to Fisticuffs Extraordinaire. This is one of these fights that comes along once every maybe 2, 3, 4 years and may go down as a very historic event. I'm thrilled to be here. My 771st world title telecast. Working with me, my man Carl King. Been away for a while, Carl. I'm thrilled to have you back on the telecast.
Well, it's very good to be back, and especially on an event of this nature. It's just absolutely thrilling for me.
Well, we've got 4 outstanding fights. We're going to start the evening off. Let's talk about Christy Martin and Sabrina Hall.
Well, you know, Christy Martin, I think, is pound for pound the best female fighter in the world. And Sabrina's coming from my home.
Felix Trinidad have been going at it now for about 7 weeks, since October, over 7 cities, a lot of press conferences, and one coin toss to see which of the two would enter the ring tonight last. Trinidad, if you're keeping score at home, won the coin toss, and he will enter the ring second. They have been at each other all this time. They're not very sociable with each other, that is for sure. Both fighters weighed in yesterday, 154 pounds. Trinidad actually had to do it twice. He carried a quarter of a pound in there somewhere, and he managed to lose it about 20 minutes later. So they're both in at 154. The stage is set to shake hands and come out boxing. Or maybe not to shake hands. Colonel, back to you.
All right, thank you, Mark Goldberg. We're back here at ringside. We're waiting for this first fight to get underway. Christy Martin and Sabrina Hall. This is for the Women's Pound-for-Pound Championship. It should be an exciting fight. Christy, of course, wants this one real bad because she has her eyes set on Lucia Riker. We'll take a quick look at the tail of the tape and then tell us a few things. First off, we see that it's a lot of things exactly the same. As you see, the height exactly the same, the weight exactly the same. Christy's a couple of years older and has 1 inch advantage in reach. There it is in the metric system for the many countries around the world that are taking it in the metric system. Christy's coming off a win last August, and Sabrina is coming off an April draw. We take a look at the rules, unified rules of boxing, 10-point must-scoring system, no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule, only the referee can stop a fight. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round, and of course in the women's boxing, they had 2-minute rounds, and they are usually action-packed rounds. So the stage is set. Jimmy Lennon Jr., their ring announcer, the classy guy who was just named the ring announcer of the decade by the WBO, is standing by at that same WBO convention here in Las Vegas this week. Don King was named the promoter of the millennium. So a couple of big honors for guys that are working with us tonight. Christy Martin, you know a lot about Christy, just a great athlete, an aggressive technical fighter. She wants to fight Lucia Riker, so she needs this fight tonight. Very, very powerful puncher, and technically she fights as good as any guys in her weight classification. As far as Sabrina Hall is concerned, she comes in 10-1-1, 4 knockouts. She hails from Grafton, Ohio. Actually, she lives in a place called North Eaton, Ohio, which is outside of Cleveland. And she's a very, very tough sort of girl. She won the women's tough woman contest, I guess you would call it, which got her on the track to getting into professional boxing. We're just about set again. We're waiting for the American network to get hooked up here, and we'll have the opening festivities underway here very, very shortly. We want to welcome all the countries that watching around the world. We understand that even the UK Talk Sports Radio Network is taking it on radio. Some 20 million people listening to us, Carl King, in the UK tonight. So that's pretty exciting too.
Well, this is going to be interesting. You know, I'm just looking at Sabrina right now. She has some huge calves, which may indicate that she has some power behind her punches, and we'll have to see. I think this is going to be an interesting fight.
Well, Sabrina said before this fight that she didn't like the way Christy Martin has kind of taken all the accolades for herself, that she wants to straighten her out. Well, she's got a tough road to hoe. Now, no matter how tough a woman is, when she gets in and goes against a professional fighter like Christy Martin, it's a whole different kettle of fish. We're still standing by here waiting for the start of this show, and now here's Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to the beautiful Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, as we have a big night of action coming away, and it's all brought to you by Don King Productions and Main Events in association with the Mandalay Bay, TVKO, and Budweiser, the undisputed king of beers. At this time, we present a women's boxing special attraction scheduled for 8 2-minute rounds of boxing. Introducing to you our 3 judges scoring from ringside, all from Las Vegas, Nevada. We have Dick Halk, Patricia Jarman Manning, and Al Siciliano. And the third man of the ring, the referee in charge of this bout, introducing Kenny Bayless. All right, fans, here we go with the Women's Pound for Pound Championship. Introducing to you first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, entering the ring wearing red trunks with white trim, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio. She weighed in at 145 pounds with a record of 10 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. She has 4 wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing Sabrina Sakatuya Hall. And her opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the red corner in this 8-round attraction, wearing her traditional pink trunks with white trim, fighting out of Orlando, Florida by way of West Virginia. She weighed in the same as her opponent, 145 pounds. Her outstanding record includes 40 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, with 30 big wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the sensational women's pound-for-pound champion, known as the coal miner's daughter, introducing Christy Martin. Once again, a referee in charge, Kenny Bayless, now to give instructions.
All right, Kenny Bayless calls the combatants to the center of the ring.
Okay, ladies,
you had a note on
rules.
Sabrina. She's in at what?
I'm going to caution you my commands at all times.
I think Sabrina is just
she came in a few pounds over that one, about 150 pounds.
That's right. It's going to be fun.
She went in at 145, but she's put on a little bit of beef overnight, I think. All right, we'll find out. She is a tough-looking cookie, isn't she?
Oh, absolutely.
We'll see how tough she is now against Christy Martin, who's a great technical fighter. Kenny Bayless, one of the fine referees here in Nevada, handling the festivities as the third man in the ring, or in this case, the only man in the ring. Christy takes a sidestep, showing that slick movement. Sabrina holds the hands high. Christy taps it with that jab. Avoids the shot. Christy, in her younger career, wasn't afraid to take a punch to get one in. And as she gets older and working with her husband, more experience, to see her slip that punch, Sabrina goes with the jab, and Christy's able to slip it again. Sabrina, while she's very tough, has never faced anyone with the technical skills of Christy Martin. Christy, as I mentioned when we were talking just a bit before the fight started, has all the technical skills of any good, real male technical fighter.
Well, absolutely, Colonel, and you can see the experience in her, and she's using her left jab very well, and I think right now, you know, Sabrina's just a bit confused, trying to figure out the Christy Martin style.
Christy, of course, to the left of the screen. Sabrina in the red trunks with her back to you. See Christy clips. Oh, big right hand! I don't know if she'll be able to recover from this. She got nailed right on the button. It's up to 4 and 5. I don't think she can make it. It's up to 6 and 7. She's going to try and make it. 8 and 9. She's wobbly at 10, and the fight is stopped. A first-round knockout for Christy Martin. She nailed her with a right hand, and it dropped her like a sack of wheat. Wow, what a shot.
Incredible, Colonel. What a perfect right hand that was. It came right over the top, landed right on the button, and I don't think any male would have got up from that shot.
Well, she hit it with perfect, and I mention about technique all the time with Christy. Jim Martin and young Jimmy Maloney and Miguel Diaz that worked that corner, Jeff Elvis Bailey, they all worked so hard to look after Christy. It came about 105 of the first round. We'll get the official timing from our ring announcer Jimmy Lennon momentarily, but I want to tell you, I want you to see this now again. Watch the right hand of Christy Martin. Go ahead, Carl.
Listen, you see that came right over the top. What a picture-perfect right hand. You see Sabrina's left hand was down, and she came right over. As you can see, here's the jab. Now you can see she's a little shaken. Jab, right hand, right over the top. Lights out. It's good night, Sabrina Hall.
Again, Carl, as you watch the replay, though, it wasn't just the wild right hand. Man, did she nail it with that shot. She set it up, straight left hand, the jab. She worked off the jab, and she really, really clipped her with the right hand. A lot of power, but driving off and turning the hip and turning the right hand over. Everything technically perfect. Well, I tell you, if Lucia Riker still wants to piece of Christy, I think Daddy O'Don King, your father, better put this thing together. I'd love to see Christy and Lucia do battle.
You better do it rapidly, too, and looking at that, I think that was one of the best-looking knockouts I've seen in a long time with that right hand. She was shaken before from a shot earlier, just a moment earlier before the knockout came, and then the right hand right over the top is a jab right hand. Picture perfect, Colonel.
Christy sporting that real ultra-feminine-looking new hairdo she's got. How could you be such a female outside of the ring and such a tigress in the ring? And that's the way Christy is. I mean, if you meet her outside, she's just as sweet as she can be, and yet she straps those gloves on, and she is every bit the tiger that any male fighter. Look at her, boofing herself up like a beauty queen. I love it.
She's a sweetheart, too.
Is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 1 minute 5 seconds in round number 1. A big right hand ends the action as our referee in charge, Kenny Bayless, reaches the count of 10. The winner by way of knockout, the women's pound-for-pound champion, the coal miner's daughter, Christy Martin.
All right, we're going to attempt to get an interview with Christy Martin as soon as our man Mark Goldberg is set. I see that he is. Let's go to Mark Goldberg and Christy.
Oh yeah, we got it. We have Christy right here, Jimmy. As she says, way to go to Sabrina. You know, Christy, first of all, congratulations. We might not see a right hand like that for the rest of the night.
Hey, man, I came out here to do one thing. That was to open up the show. It's a marvelous show. You got legendary fighter on there, Ricardo Lopez, 2 future Hall of Famers in Vargas and Trinidad. Joppy's coming right up there. So, hey, what better way to open up the show with a good knockout?
Did you come into this fight at all with any kind of a plan or anything? I know that you go all out all the time.
No, actually, I came into this fight thinking I wanted to be more cautious, a little more patient, somewhat as my last fight. She led me right into the right hand early, and I had to drop it as soon as I could.
Did she have... Yeah, we're going to take a look at the monitor here, where we're going to roll it again. It was only 1 minute and 5 seconds of fighting tonight. Go ahead, explain.
Well, I'm just sitting her up here. I landed a little combination, and she started going backwards off of what wasn't a very powerful shot, so I just set up the right hand, and it was good night.
Good night. Sweet princess. Down she goes. Did any of her punches hurt you?
No, I expected it to be a very tough fight, but I came out, I jumped on her early, and I didn't give her a chance to show her stuff.
Christy, congratulations. You wanted to get this show off to a great start, and boy, you did. People here loved it.
Thank you. It's awesome, and you know, I'm always happy to be on King Vision, and all my supporters over in Venezuela and Nicaragua. You know, I'm coming to Venezuela soon.
Okay, Christy Martin, congratulations. What a way to start this night with a big right hand. She wanted to get it started, and she did. Let's go back to the Colonel.
All right, thank you, Mark. And I tell you, Carl, we talked about her technique, and Christy really showed terrific technique. She was patient. I thought she was looking very patient. She came out, she slipped the punch immediately, then she started nailing it with the jab, setting everything up off the jab. And the thing that's great about Christy, she realized when she hit it with that little combination that girl was back on her heels. Then another jab and right hand. She didn't just throw a wild right hand. That wasn't a lucky punch.
No, that was set up beautifully. I mean, that was by calculation and design. She slipped, she used the jab to set her up. I think she took advantage of Sabrina's inexperience. And I think Sabrina might have been in a little awe of the event itself. That sometimes has an effect on young up-and-coming fighters.
Well, I understand that we're ready to take a look into William Joppy's dressing room, and coming up next we'll have the WBA middleweight championship of the world. William Joppy will be taking on Jonathan Reed. Joppy coming in 31-1-1 with 23 KOs. Jonathan Reed, the opportunity of a lifetime. He's ranked number 10 in the world, a pride of Nashville, Tennessee, in the United States of America. 27-0 with 16 knockouts. He really has the opportunity that guys would fight for. Now we're taking a look in the dressing room. That's William Joppy. Of course, Joppy is one of the three middleweight champions. Bernard Hopkins fought last night and was in a war and came out victorious. The other middleweight champ, Keith Holmes, is here and was talking to Don King about the opportunity to unify. But there's also a lot of talk, Carl, about Joppy fighting the winner of tonight's fight, especially if it's Trinidad. Trinidad wants to move up and fight as a middleweight. What about that?
That could be a very interesting situation, and I think that's something that both guys want. William Joppy especially, he's looking forward to an opportunity with a great fighter like Felix Trinidad. But in order to do that, he has to get by an undefeated fighter tonight by the name of Jonathan Reed.
Well, he has to do that, and I don't think that William Joppy is getting the recognition that perhaps he should, because he hasn't had that big money fight, that big showcase fight, and he knows that too. And that's why he wants to have the opportunity to fight either Bernard Hopkins, as I said, or perhaps Keith Holmes. And these guys are playing a little dog and mouse, or cat and mouse, I should say, with each other, avoiding each other and wanting to fight. But Joppy definitely wants to fight. And if he can't do that, then Trinidad's going to get the opportunity should he get victorious tonight. All right, we understand that Fernando Vargas arrived just a short time ago. We got some tape on that of Vargas coming in. And how about this? A classic Bel Air Chevy, beautiful lowrider. Look at the swagger. He didn't walk in, he swaggered. He stepped on the scales and he put on a little bit of weight. He stepped up on the scales and it was 164 pounds tonight. He, of course, weighed in at the championship level at 154, as did Trinidad yesterday. Look at this guy. Oxnard, California, in the United States of America, but he's every bit a Mexican. He's had a lot of cocky things to say this week. When they talked about Oscar De La Hoya letting the Mexicans down, he made the remark, hey, Oscar De La Hoya is not a Mexican.
Yeah, this guy's for real. He's a young, up-and-coming talent that is incredible in the ring. Ferocious is a proper nickname for Fernando Vargas.
All right, I see that Mark Goldberg has a little bit with William Joppy, so Mark, take it.
Thanks a lot, Colonel. William Joppy has to come in here tonight with a very wet appetite, because if he wins his bout, and if Felix Trinidad later on tonight wins his bout, that sets up what Trinidad wants, and that is to jump up in weight class to 160 pounds and fight for the title that is now held by William Joppy. So the question is now, is it going to be, does Trinidad need Joppy more, or does Joppy need Trinidad more?
He always talking about he's going to eventually go up and fight Roy Jones, but he wants to stop at middleweight, and that's me, and he calls my name out, and he has to get past me so that Roy Jones can say, hey, he's a formidable opponent to fight. And then again, I need him too, so I can be a marquee, so I can get in the pound-for-pound best. Really frustrated, because my time is past due. I've been world champion for 4 years, going on 5, and can you see, I done beat everybody. I mean, as far as the non-marquee fighters. You know, I haven't fought that